The ferry glides smoothly over the water, leaving a foamy trail in the deep blue of the Pacific Ocean. The air is imbued with salt, and a warm breeze brushes my face as we approach Morton Island. In the distance, the white sandy shores of Tangalooma seem almost unreal, a perfect contrast against the emerald green vegetation covering the hills. As the ferry docks at the pier, I can see a group of silvery fish darting beneath the crystal clear water. The captain announces our arrival in a friendly voice, and passengers begin to disembark. I step off the ferry eagerly, my boots softly tapping the wooden pier, and take a deep breath, letting the fresh, clean air fill my lungs. The pier leads directly to a soft sandy beach that feels warm underfoot. In the distance I see the resort complex, a cluster of low buildings blending seamlessly with the natural landscape. But my goal lies beyond. The Tangalooma Desert, a region of golden dunes contrasting with the island's lush vegetation. My plan is to reach it on foot, savoring every detail of this paradise. The trail begins near the resort, just past a cluster of palm trees that seem to whisper to each other with every breeze. The first part of the path is surrounded by eucalyptus trees, their trunks exuding a fresh, earthy aroma. As I move forward, the air fills with bird song. I recognize the sharp cry of cockatoos and the melodic trill of honey-eaters. A curious wallaby peers out from the bushes, its dark, shiny eyes studying me for a moment before hopping into the foliage. The ground is soft and sandy, occasionally interrupted by tree roots extending like gnarled fingers. I look up and notice sunlight filtering through the leaves, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance with the movement of the branches. Each step takes me deeper into the heart of the island, and the resort's noise fades, replaced by the sounds of nature. After a while, the landscape begins to change. The vegetation becomes sparser, and the trail widens. Now I can see patches of golden sand mingling with rocks and low shrubs. The transition is gradual but unmistakable. I am entering the desert area. The first dune rises before me like a frozen wave, its smooth, curved lines shaped by the wind. I climb the dune, feeling the warm sand shift beneath my feet. Each step requires more effort, but the view from the top is worth it. From here I can see the vast sandy landscape stretching in all directions, dotted with hardy shrubs that have found a way to thrive in this arid environment. Looking back, I catch a glimpse of the ocean shimmering in the distance, a reminder of how diverse this island is. I decide to rest for a moment, letting my thoughts drift in the vastness of the landscape. Suddenly, a flock of rainbow lorikeets streaks across the sky, their vibrant colors contrasting against the deep blue horizon. Their calls are sharp and lively, a perfect soundtrack for this moment. I continue my journey, descending the dune and venturing further into the desert. The sand here is finer, almost silky to the touch. I follow a trail of footprints that seem to have been left by a group of earlier hikers. As I move forward, I realize the sun's heat is more intense, and I am grateful for the water and a hat I brought to protect myself. Along the way, I come across an area where the dunes form small valleys, creating a landscape that seems otherworldly. In one of these valleys, I discover a group of lizards basking on a rock. Their scaly bodies glisten in the light, and I stand still, watching as one raises its head as if posing for a photograph. Finally, I reach a more open area where the dunes appear to dance with the wind. Set in the distance where I see a small campsite, a lone tent with a flag gently waving. I approach and greet the camper, who turns out to be a photographer capturing the beauty of the dune at sunrise and sunset. He invites me to sit and share a cup of tea. As we drink, he tells me about the stars that light up the night's sky, creating a spectacle that can only be appreciated in places like this, far from light pollution. After saying goodbye, I decide to explore a little more before heading back. On my return journey, the sun begins to set, and the landscape is bathed in golden and orange hues. The sand seems to glow as if covered in tiny diamonds. The breeze becomes cooler, and I can once again hear the distant sound of the ocean. When I finally reach the pier, the sky is painted with the colors of the sunset, and the dolphins are already approaching the shore, ready for their nightly interaction with visitors. I sit on the beach, watching as the stars begin to appear one by one. I reflect on the journey I just undertook, marveling at the diversity and beauty of Morton Island, and promise to return to explore more of this magical place.